Hello, I'm Tiago, founder of Toco Marketing, and today I'm excited to be speaking with Xavier Louis, the founder of Five Lives, a company that's making huge strides in the world of brain health. Zav has an impressive track record in health tech space. He previously founded and Exit Peak Brain Training, a cognitive training app, and is now driving innovation with Five Lives, which helps people take control of their brain health as they age. In this conversation, we'll chat about the challenges of building a health tech product and what Zav has learned from building multiple startups in this space. Zav, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
To start, could you give us just a quick overview of your experience and what is Five Lives all about?
Sure. So I'm Xavier. I'm an entrepreneur for the past 14 years. I have actually a background in video games. I worked for many years in the video games industry, working in small and large studios like Electronic Arts, really to build some engaging experience. Opportunity to start a company called Peak was one of the leading brain training applications. We had more than 60 million downloads, which has games to help people train various aspects of their brain, like memory, attention, and so on. We had good success on the App Store. But I wanted to go one step further into healthcare. After Peak, I learned that we could have multiple ways to have a positive impact on the brain, that we call multi-domain intervention. So, we see mental stimulations and brain training can be one piece of a jigsaw, but there's actually many other ways we can have a positive impact on cognitions, including nutrition, physical activity, stress management, and sleep. So I wanted to leverage my experience in mental stimulation and brain training elements combined with other aspects of lifestyle to have the best solutions possible around brain health. And that actually at a personal levels, over 5 years ago, my dad actually got diagnosed with dementia. Unfortunately, there was no available tools at the time. So we decided with Five Lives to build both from a prevention and therapy point of view. The tools actually didn't exist for dozens of millions of patients and families which are impacted by the disease.
Oh, that's an incredible and personal story. Thank you for sharing it. So, how do you go from noticing there was a gap to the point of okay, I really need to build this. What was the? Can you go a little bit over the bridge between what happened in your personal life and then what I'm gonna build this.
Yes, but obviously I've been entrepreneur for over 14 years now, and sometimes we have after the first successful startup and company, you question yourself if you have enough in you to go and do it again. But I have to say, really, because of the personal trigger and my dad being impacted, and actually of the lack of available solutions, there's no available treatment. There's basically you got a sword above your head, and there's really nothing that can be done, or at least people tell you there's nothing that can be done. And I wanted to bring some light or hope, that to bring some solutions, especially from what we learned from the previous company, that you could have a positive impact with various aspects of mental stimulation and lifestyle, really to go and build what didn't exist, and that could have been very hopeful, obviously, useful 5 years ago when my dad got diagnosed. Even if we are building these tools now and making it available to the audience, there is more than 50 million patients diagnosed with Alzheimer's and over found of dementia in the world today. It will treble in the next 25 years, 250 million. So there's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that need to be done for millions of families, and this is really what has been driving me and the team to build this type of tools. Entrepreneurship, building a startup, as I've been there before, is a real challenge. It's exciting adventures, but I think it really gives me that push to go and start again, to make a positive impact.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah. So obviously, you have experience on the gaming industry, on your background on EA, developing games, and I know from a personal relation that you used to develop games for Facebook itself, for Facebook platforms. and then you moved to brain training, which was subscription based mobile application, and now Five Lives. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that the gaming background that you have gives you, how can I say, a strong hand on making sure that people are engaged and they still hooked. They stay hooked on with Five Lives. But how do you ensure that you use the retention, the mechanisms to make sure that it's something that is changing habits for the better of the Five Lives user?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I think from a scientific standpoint, what has been proven to be very efficient at improving brain health is what we call the multi-domain approach. There's a study called Fingers that has demonstrated that this multiple aspects of lifestyle combine, have a really some additiveness. We can really combine these various aspects of lifestyle to improve various aspects of cognitions and reduce the risk of dementia. We see my strong experience in mental stimulation and brain training is kind of a unique superpower. It means we can make our experience super engaging and useful and for people, and we're able to capped really user attentions to benefit from the coaching around helping them through health advice on number of challenges about what to improve in various aspects of their nutrition, so their physical activity or their sleep patterns. I think most of applications we are focusing purely on lifestyle might have some challenges in driving retentions and people engage over a long period of time. The benefits of the Five Lives, say, a secret sauce recipe is combining kind of the gaming elements with kind of the traditional coach health advice, because people, because of the gaming element, they don't even realize that actually they're using kind of a medical product. They see it as naturally engaging and fun, but they do benefit from the rest of the coaching, which will have a positive impact on their lifestyle. But I think at the end, as we see from in the world of digital, to capture the attentions of the audience, the gaming elements is a very strong, powerful tools to drive people attentions, and but for greater goods, because we help them make some transformational changes to their day to day, which will have a knock-on positive impact on their quality of life, improving cognitive performance, and reducing the risk of dementia.
That's thank you. So gamification as a retention tool, and basically you're sneaking in some benefits to the user with your game, so they don't understand they're actually improving their health as they're using the app.
I can add something that could be the way I see it is the story of the chocolate broccoli. Now, if you want to make maybe kids eat broccoli, don't put chocolate on it, but it's more to if it is be easier to eat some good, very good chocolate with a lot of great natural ingredients in it. So I think it's better to blend the broccoli into the chocolate than putting chocolate on top of the broccoli.
Fair enough. That's good. So actually making sure that the gamification is an integral part from the start of the experience, right? So it's completely perfectly woven into it. Uh, no, thank you. That's a really good insight. Another challenge that comes with usually with any health tech products, and not only health tech directly, but even if you think about, you only go to the gym usually when it's too late, when you're already overweight. You only start a diet, when it's time to improve, some biomarkers. So how do you tackle the fact that people don't action the brain health until there is actually a problem, which might be quite too late for them to see some beneficial impact on the lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a real challenge, and not only for brain health. Between the prevention and therapy, at the end, it's really a question of pain point. And usually, especially in healthcare, it will be, unfortunately, because sometimes it's too late, easier to for people to be aware or interested by the solutions, because they have, in the case of brain health for Alzheimer's, it means someone has been already diagnosed, and because you've been already diagnosed, you're already the pain point, you're suffering from it, and you'll be very open to any solution that could help reducing the pain. So prevention is way more challenging because you don't really experience that pain yet. So it's like for future pain points. what we've learned from Five Lives, we've seen actually quite a lot of differences from an audience standpoint. Even the average users of Five Lives today is 63. I think we have a large difference between people 50 to 60 or 60 and above. I think people who have been 60 and above actually have way more I've been keen to get started with the solutions way more to benefit from it. And I think it's really linked to, at the end, aging, more likely to be exposed to someone. It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your neighbors who have been actually diagnosed with the conditions. So you have actually, even if it's not you, you have external triggers around you, which are reminding you of how much brain health is important. Also, you are more likely to have what we call like senior moments. So you're way more likely to experience. So even if you don't really have the conditions yet, you might be experiencing memory issues, memory troubles. You forget your keys, you don't know where you park the car, and so on and so on. And in some ways, these moments are triggers that are brain health concerns. So I think people tend to be more worried, and in that case, actually more likely to take actions. A bit more challenge for the 50, 60 audience. What we have seen is people are more interested to understand where they stand, where they are, answer the questions about where their brain health. Slightly less likely to take actions, but because they're not experiencing as many senior moments or people around them. Maybe another difference I can mention to take actions is really to drive awareness. I think especially around brain health, there's a bit of a urban legends, but there's actually nothing you can do. And actually that um, understanding or that there's not much that can be done. And it's actually not only from users or patients, but also from clinicians. I think actually a lot of clinicians think that dementia is just a natural part of aging. Actually drive for people to not take actions because it feels like, oh, there's actually nothing that can be done. So driving the awareness that change is possible, then change is positive, that change can be helpful for them, and can improve your quality of life, not only at long term, but at short term, is actually a key factors of taking actions. So I think when people have started to take action through the application because it's engaging and fun and so on, people reap the benefits from it. But I think the biggest challenge is for people to start taking the actions and to have the empowerment and the tools to get there. And I think for big work, not only from Five Lives, but from the health system as a whole, because I think clinicians can play a big role into that, from recommending, signposting solutions which have been proven to be positive at helping people. I think they can play a big role in driving the trust to use this type of applications and the awareness that Alzheimer's and dementia is not a lost cause, and actually is something that can be done, and that the earlier that can be done, the better for the individuals.
Yeah, very interesting. And you mentioned the awareness both on the consumer but also the clinician side. What sort of work are you doing? Anything to get the clinicians aware of solutions, or to at least give them the tools and tell them, look, this exists?
So we actually engage a lot with clinicians because not so much for the prevention product, but more because we got a product which are targeted also to people who have been already diagnosed. It means that it could be a product that could be prescribed by clinicians. So in some ways, we drive the visibility of Five Lives to clinicians through that route. But so we love to talk to them and explain what can be done from a brain health standpoint using our digital solutions. It's still a lot of work to be done. I think there was research back from 2023 from Alzheimer Research UK showing that around 60% of GPs were in the category that we call listen, don't act. So it means if you have a memory troubles, you go to your GPs, you will consult, and in a very large majority of the case, they will listen to your worry, but just send you back with nothing and ask you to come back in a couple of years for a diagnosis. And actually, it's a lost opportunity because actually in these few years where you start to have some concerns, you might not be diagnosed yet, we can actually have a very strong positive impact in improving quality of life or slowing down that underlying cognitive decline. So I think clinicians that see these patients who have these memory troubles or problems years before potential diagnosis have a key roles to play to one, drive the awareness that something can be done, and second, recommend what are the right tools that could be done. Maybe it could be Five Lives, could be someone else or something else, but I think we are one of these tools that could be used and recommended by clinicians, one early on from a prevention standpoint, but also if someone has been already diagnosed and have interventions that will be beneficial for someone who has been already diagnosed. But it's one of our key challenge to drive the awareness to the public and to clinicians.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So it's a complex challenge, I think, going from the on the clinician side, just because obviously there is a they want to provide the best service they can for for the patients, but at the same time it can be as they do the research, as they wait for information from scientific papers, etc. It might take them in a long time until they start implementing newer technologies, newer solutions, right? So it's an interesting challenge where I guess it's going to be a product adoption curve as well with clinicians, where you have some that are going to be using the early adopters, and then you're going to have to wait for the larger majority to reach to start implementing these technologies as well. Going a little bit back on the gamification that, and obviously that comes from your experience, your superpowers you mentioned at the start. What did you learn from your experience, especially with peak brain training? When creating something people want to use consistently rather than dropping off just after a few weeks.
Yeah, so I think obviously engagement is key. I think there's a couple of things that need to be done. So at least three things I could mention. Obviously, to have depth of content and games. From what we learned from the previous company, we had around like 50 different games, and you had always a bit of novelty, variety, making sure every day's session is different. So I think making that in-depth quality of the experience, building real. It's just number of games. No, there's actually a lot of levels and depth in each of the games, so you can keep playing again and again. So to provide that sense of progress across a large number of content. So I think it's definitely key to build up engagement and experience. The second element is really actually guidance. I think what we've seen is almost 90% of people prefer to have more like a guided approach, and some don't make me think. So really to provide that level of personalizations to what they need to do. If you take a similarity with the gym, where you could go to the gym and follow your own program, but more of the time people will prefer actually a structured approach. It will go for a personal trainer, or actually personal trainer recommending what needs to be done. So you go to the gym, you have 1 hour, you know exactly what needs to be done, and it's good for you. So I think in some ways that level of personalizations and guidance is quite key to remain engaged over a long period of time. So, and the third element, especially in the world of mobile experience, where you might have a limited attention span, you may receive regular notifications, and you have so much content on offer. It's actually good that the sessions is neither short nor long, but just the right durations to keep people engaged. If you are making the sessions, let's say 2 hours long, people will not come back because they know it's a 2 hour sessions and they won't be able to squeeze that time in their schedule. So you need to be short enough, but not too short, because if it's too short, it won't be effective. But just the right durations, but short enough for people to be able to reduce frictions to start, if you see what I mean. So it need to be super. I know if I know if it's 5-10 minutes, they know they can start and finish it maybe with a coffee, or if they can easily squeeze it in their daily schedules. If you make it too hard, too complex, or too long, it will actually have a negative impact on engagement and retentions, because people might not engage with it again. So I think it's really that combination of depth of content, of structure, of the right durations of the experience, which really all combine make it for a very engaging experience. Obviously, we are lucky. Gaming in itself is fun and engaging and drive naturally a lot of engagement. So we don't really have to, when we say gamification, we don't have to force it. It's naturally game-like and drive great interest from the users.
Okay, interesting. So goes back to your analogy of the broccoli with chocolate, not just simply pour chocolate on top of broccoli. So a couple things there, right? So one, you need to have the breadth of content, but at the same time you want to reduce choice, so you want to guide the experience. That's a interesting paradox that you need.
You need to make sure you have short structure session, but they need to change every day. So and because you have the depth of content, can ensure your session always look fresh.
Okay, so not always the same thing. Keep changing. Um, okay, and you mentioned the sessions length also can be too short, not good. So Goldilocks session length as well. How do you find it out? Is there like any experimentation that you run to understand? Okay, this is as long as a game session should last, or it's something that just naturally you're gonna see that the product is gonna end up on a specific session length.
Yeah, what we've seen, but I think it's try to find a balance between what is recommended guidance from a scientific standpoint to have a positive impact, and what's engaging and short enough. For the prevention side, it's really range between 10 to 15 minutes max. So it's really almost like we say the duration to drink a coffee. So I think this is really what we have seen as the most effective. The very large majority will just do that. Some users would decide on top to play more content because there's some of the games they like or other activities they want to spend more time on. But the large majority at the end will just do the structure of the guided programs and we'll focus on that. So it will be really 10, 15 minutes. On the therapy side, it's a bit different because from a scientific standpoint, what has been proven to be effective for patients with cognitive impairment is to have actually more longer sessions. So it's more into the 30 to 45 minutes. So it's a bit longer and harder from engagement standpoint. But the different level of motivation is different because it's not prevention, it's therapy. Someone has been already diagnosed, so it's really you're more committed to take your treatments in some ways because you unfortunately you feel the pain or the family of the patient is feeling the pain and maybe alongside the patients to take their digital treatment in some way. So I think it's slightly different behaviors and user experience because on the therapy side, you might not be engaging with your smartphone and tablets in the same way that you have for from preventions or a normal 50 plus users who might have like dozens of apps on the phone. So
Yeah, of course. um, sure. So, what concrete advice would you be able to give to, let's say, a founder, early stage founder of a health tech who's trying to move away from the nice to have to a product that's more essential and that's proven to have a benefit.
yeah, I think what we've about two things to for health tech entrepreneur. So first, we really focus on the where is the largest pain points. At the end, this is the willingness to pay, the business model, the interest from your users or patients, really linked to the depth of the pain points. It's really why I will focus. Really focus on where you can help as much as possible so the people you're trying to help. So it means a lot of research, of understanding, spending time with your potential users or clients to see how much you can improve their quality of life and or the pain point they are suffering from. So that's really at the end the first key. The second is patience and resilience. Building some, if you're serious about healthcare, it takes time. So there's no overnight success. Contrary to, well, it's already hard as an entrepreneur in tech, but in healthcare, you have to add the layers of regulations. You have to add the layers of scientific validations because you can't put a product on the market without the right level of claims. You need to run clinical trial, build up evidence. It means a lot of money. It means a lot of time. So it takes always more time than you anticipate. So you have to be ready for the long run. So you have to be quite patient, resilient, It's hard to find your go-to market, but it's worth it. It's fascinating. It's when you wake up in the morning, you want to help people live longer, better, healthier. So it's for sure it's hard, but at the same time it's super exciting and rewarding to try to build new kind of digital tools that will have a positive impact on millions of people's lives. So.
Mission focus is the good motivator. You mentioned a few things there that are quite so that I would like to go deep. So one is obviously all the regulations that you need to go through, um, which can be quite a hindrance. So could you give us just a glimpse of 4 or 5 lives, what it looks like in terms of making sure that you're compliant to all the different regulations, but also how that affects your strategy of expansion and going to different markets, etc.
Yeah. Also, we have to take more like a market by market approach because the level of regulation might be different from one country or regions to another. At the moment, our 5 lives prevention application is available in France, UK, and Ireland. But overall, we have a similar level of regulation for Europe. But if we had to distribute our app in its current form in the US or Canada, for instance, we'll have to go through different level of regulation. So there's a challenge for company or startup in healthcare to scale because of a required level of regulations. But you understand why there's some level of regulation because safety is paramount. You want to make sure your digital treatment is efficient, but also safe for people to use. So it's really challenging to navigate, but it's worth it because for the few players that manage to do it, it's also a lot of barriers to entry compared to the what I would call thousands or dozens of thousands of what you call digital health apps. But I think it's over 95% of all the digital health apps you'll see on the App Store, none have actually any kind of clinical validation. So we are building great clinical, very strong, robust clinical validations. We had several publications with top university, with scientifics from, for instance, from University of Oxford. So it's something which takes time to build, but which is I think worth to build because in the long run, I really believe there will be more drive towards the validated or clinically validated applications or interventions available on the market as there's more awareness of what can be done. So I think both from users, patients, patient associations, clinicians, I think it's quite key. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge to go through this level of regulations. Means we have to work with building a quality management system. There's a lot of certification rules we have to follow. But I think we're at a stage now we've been running the company for a number of years. We know what we're doing. We are doing it faster than initially. So I think we've learned on the process. I think we know we are quite efficient healthcare regulated startup, and we see it more as a strength more than something hindering the capability of the company to provide great products.
Okay. Would you mind, just because I'm aware that most people don't go through the process of working for a product that's clinically validated, would you mind just going a little bit, like explain a little bit more what does it mean to be clinically validated? What is the process? What that entails in general?
Yeah, I'll take example of at the moment we have our new app targeted to mild cognitive impairment patients, where we are actually conducting a randomized controlled trial with multiple academic partners, both in the UK and France, where we try to prove through a very effective double-blind randomized trials, demonstrate the efficacy of the interventions. So you have to use applications for 12 weeks, 30 minutes, 3 times per week, but it's actually improving various aspects of cognition. So we have to do it with academic partners, means that the patient which is enrolled into the trial need to go through a very large number of cognitive battery to assess their cognitions. They go through the interventions that we build for 12 weeks. And at the end, we measure their cognitions through the academic partners, and we measure if there's actually a significant, statistically validated improvement in cognition. So it's really building up evidence that the use of the application is just not a nice app you have on the App Store, but it's actually effective interventions to improve various aspects, in our case of cognitions or quality of life for patients. And to have that level of data will enable us to be officially trustable interventions that could be used in treatment of specific conditions. It might be different from one territory to another, but at the moment there is at least 3 countries in Europe where you can actually submit your digital treatment for reimbursement, and to have that level of reimbursement by the health system, which means the clinicians could prescribe the use of solutions and you will be paid by the health system to use that application like a drug. And to be validated by the health system, you need to have a very strong level of clinical data in a similar way to what a pharma will submit a new drugs for approval by the medical agency. So I think the level of requirements is very strong and similar to what you will see for the development of new drugs or vaccines. It takes time, it's long, it's expensive, but it's a requirement for company like ours to become the trusted solution that one day a clinician will prescribe to their patients in treatment of a specific solutions. For us, it's obviously brain health, Alzheimer's, dementia, but it could be for other conditions from, I don't know, tinnitus, dyslexia, chronic insomnia, and so on. So I can project a world in a few years from now where a lot of these digital interventions will be a common treatment for specific disease. It's way more effective. It's way more affordable for also for the health system because it's way cheaper to access and to reimburse that sometimes potential existing treatments that are quite expensive and not necessarily the most effective.
Quite super interesting, and obviously it's quite novel as well. So how do you tackle, make, obviously the might be a bit of a chicken and egg situation, where you run the clinical trials to gain the credibility, but you need credibility initially to be able to run the clinical trials. So how do you go about you need one to have credibility, but you also need credibility to run it. So how do you go about tackling that and managing that balance, let's put it.
Yes, it's a difficult situation. It's one part experience and second finding the right partners who believe in you. We have also a track record from what we've done with previous company. We have a very smart and effective science team within Five Lives that managed to build a trust with academic partners. But also quite a lot of scientific literature review and user research, because yes, you're building interventions and you want to conduct a trial on it, but in the first place, you need to make sure that what you're building is likely to be effective. So we've built up on actually on a number of existing research. I mentioned fingers prevention study. There's some of our research where it has been demonstrated in the labs that multi-domain interventions could have a positive impact. But we try to build up real-world digital products based on sometimes some of these previous studies that guide us or tell us that yeah, there's something that can be done, but we wanted to build a product that real people could use in the real world and benefit from it, and to move away from just pure scientific literatures to something which is actionable and so on. But yeah, build up the trust. Our level of passions and interest in solving one of the largest health problem of our time without treatments today is also, drive interest from a number of academic partners, because unfortunately, as I was mentioning at the beginning, there is no existing approved treatment and solutions for the disease. So people are more likely to embrace or test and try to validate a number of solutions that could be potentially effective at improving quality of life in patients.
Yeah, and also as you said, like it's a growing market or people who need this as well. And considering that the population of the world is getting older and older as we go by, and personal anecdotes. I was driving my mom back to the airport, and she needs support to go up the stairs, and the support on the airport is getting more and more clutter and full of people waiting in line. The service is getting worse because you can see that the volume of people who need support, going up the stairs and etc., is increasing massively, and the economy is not ready to accept that. It's not built for that reality. So definitely, any product that's helping improve the quality of life of the older people, it definitely something that will have a growing market, right? And it's extremely important for us as a society to tackle as well. Um, Now, you mentioned a few times about volumes of cash, that all of the scientific research. You mentioned that you have a science team, which they they're helping develop the product, but obviously it's going to be an extra cost for from let's say a more commercial minded startup. How do you sell this approach to investors?
Mm.
And following up on this, obviously, if you're going to have investors, you're looking for a return of investment as well. How do you look to monetize Five Lives and the solution it's building?
Yeah. So first question is more on how do we convert or investors. So at the end, there's different type of investors. Some investors are specialized in healthcare, so might have already an understanding of the challenges of the healthcare market. So and it's likely not to be overnight crypto success. You tend to see a number of investors who are really specialized in the healthcare vertical because they understand the regulation, the level of clinical evidence, and so on. So having the right type of investors by your side that are understanding that the different timeline that a healthcare startup require is important. So don't go and try to convert investors which are not in the space. So I think they need to have already a good level of understanding of the challenges because otherwise you'll be hard to compare to other type of verticals which might not have the challenges or requirements of what healthcare have. Second is really to also to demonstrate a palatable, long-term, sustainable, profitable business model. At the end, I think the value you can put on the product and solution is linked to how much you solve one pain point. For us, it's clear. I mentioned the pain point, someone who's been already diagnosed, no solutions, Alzheimer's and dementia is a terrible disease. If you can improve the quality of life, slow down cognitive decline for a number of years, it has a very strong, meaningful impact. And if there's a way to monetize it, the price attached to it, yeah, so it could be out of pocket if someone is ready to pay directly for it, or it could be reimbursed. The range of price you see for digital product in healthcare is around a couple of hundreds pounds or euros per treatment. So I think this is quite reasonable compared to sometimes very expensive interventions or solutions. But yeah, you have to be able to prove as a meaningful business model. At the moment, we have a dual business model for the prevention app. Also, we do have some number of people who pay directly for it, but it tends to be more like a sponsored B2B2C model, either by insurers or pharma company or other type of health partners. And for the therapy products, it's really linked to people or family paying directly for it, or market or health system reimbursing the treatment.
Okay, interesting. So it's not, I'd say it's not very usual model, the B2B2C. It's not something that you see every day. How do you balance, building a product that, let's say, your corporate partner is willing to pay for, but at the same time, that's something that the end user is engaged enough to use, right? How do you balance that, something that's useful for the corporate partner, but also it's something that's interesting for the end user?
Yeah, I can mention the type of work we do with some of the insurers in UK and Europe. I think it's a good alignment actually of business model because they sponsor the use of the applications. So it means the users, patient can benefit from the application which is useful to them. And it's win-win-win. It means that someone is benefiting from the app as an improvement in quality of life. Actually, someone with improved quality of life and better lifestyle is less likely to get sick, less likely to utilize the health system, and there'll be a lower level of claims for the insurers and partners. And for us, we benefit from the licensing, from usage of the app. It's really win-win-win because when you think about it, it's the best business model. People are in better health, and people save money at the same time. Insurers, health system, and us. And we know when someone use the app and engage with it, it benefit from a significant improvement in lifestyle. I think the data we got for thousands of users or active users of the app after a month see like 30% improvement in mental stimulations, 10% improvements in level of physical activity. They eat 1.3 fruit and veg more per day. They sleep 30 minutes more per night. And there's a drop in the level of anxiety by around 10%. There's actually no drugs, treatment, or intervention that I know which are as effective as that. So in some ways, it's we know that people are starting the applications see great benefits, and the health partners we're working with actually benefit from it too, because people will be less in better health.
Well, and going back to the idea of being mission focused, the fact that you have that stats to prove the benefits that Five Lives can bring. That I'm pretty sure that it's a big motivator for yourself and for the team, right?
Yes, this is what makes us proud to see that users benefiting from the application and seeing some improvements in their quality of life. At the end, it's really one of our motto is add life to yours, really to help people live healthier, longer lives. So if we're able to add thousands, millions, billions years more to humanity and to the community, I think we are very happy.
Perfect. Good to hear. Um, Now might be a bit of a hard question. There has been a decline on overall investment on early stage health tech into 2024. But at the same time, more the investment on late stage startups has increased quite significantly. So obviously, that creates an imbalance on the market. So I'd say where you have the incumbents stronger with more money on the bank, whilst the newcomers have to fight for attention for both obviously for customers and investors. So how do you make sure that Five Lives is differentiated itself from the rest, from the noise, and any tip that you can share that could help anyone on this as a newcomer to make sure that they're able to get a piece of the pie as well.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I think there's a lot of great ideas out there, but at the end, it's almost a beauty contest, and there's not necessarily places for everyone. So you might have actually a great project, but the project might not be good enough compared to other projects which might be also there. So I think it's really focused on a few things we discussed around business model, the validity, the size of the market, how many people can you help, how much is the pain point, how much are you solving that pain point, and this is really what will matter to differentiate. I think also, especially in the early stage, the quality of the team to solve that problems is also because you might lacking metrics or data or about how to scale. But if you have a great team or the great problems and you have great solutions to solve it, you might be in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you. Zab, thank you so much for your time so far. We're getting to the end of the interview. Now, looking ahead, what's next for Five Lives?
Yeah, I think our biggest challenge and opportunity of the coming month is to finalize our randomized control trial, with the top memory center in the UK and France, to have the data and validations that our new Five Lives made health applications can be used as effective interventions for patients with mild cognitive impairment. So I really, really believe we can help dozens of millions of patients in UK, France, Europe, across the world with that intervention. So I've met what's the number one um, milestone or challenge of the coming month is to demonstrate the efficacy and usability of that data, so we can start to commercialize and distribute that digital interventions to clinicians that will be able to recommend and prescribe to millions of patients. So that's really a number one challenge. Number two is really raising more money. We're always on the run to have the means to develop these effective tools and to have the right, the right product, level of engagement, and team to run it. So I think it's as I mentioned, it's a long. Building a product in healthcare is a long adventures, and obviously it means we need to have the resources to be able to deliver it over time and actually scale, distribute the great products which have been built and validated.
No, perfect. Thank you. And lastly, where can we learn more about Five Lives and follow your journey?
Yeah, so we see. Well, you can go to a website where we update regularly, especially some of the new various articles or video, TV coverage. We have that. So it's a good way to be informed of the latest, but also encouraged to go on our LinkedIn account where I share, or the Five Lives account share on a regular basis some of the new developments and partnership and updates about us.
Yeah, and just note, the website is fivelives.health, that you can find everything there. So Zach, thanks so much for sharing all of your insights and your personal stories and motivations. It's been an incredible conversation.
Thank you so much.